What's up, Active Lifers? I'm Dr. Sean Pastuch. I'm your host, and today we're going to recap last week's podcast in which I interviewed ProPath gym owner David Rubin. David's gym, Courage Fitness Durham, is one of the best performing CrossFit affiliates in the world. I discussed on the podcast that I don't have real clear data to back this up because CrossFit doesn't provide that data to the universe. But my belief, and I'm pretty strong in this belief, having talked to hundreds of CrossFit gym owners from around the world, is that David's gym is in the top 0.1%, not the top 1%, the top 0.1% in regards to the amount of revenue that it generates on a month over month and the amount of profit that it makes after paying the salaries of everybody who works in the business, including David himself, at the end of the month. I believe that they are in the top 1/1000th of gyms worldwide in their ability to do this. I want to dig in on this podcast to what we learned from David on the last show that I think is important that you take into consideration in running your own gym, being a coach in your own gym. And I want to talk about what the opposite of what David is doing looks like in gyms who we have worked with and unfortunately not been able to continue to help. I think that what you'll find is there is a stark difference. What you'll find is that there is a common thread. And what you'll find is that, especially if you are the gym owner, you have the autonomy to make the decision as to what kind of a gym you run. Let's get into it. On last week's show, what I believe is perhaps the most valuable thing for you to take from it is that David did not move fast on his decision to enroll in ProPath. But once he decided that he wanted to enroll in ProPath, once he had the data in front of him that this was the direction he wanted to take the gym, he moved extremely quickly. So what you need to be asking yourself is, what is the data that David needed to collect before he was prepared to make any kind of a decision about the direction of his gym? Let's go through it. First and foremost, David found himself in a position in which his gym had suffered significantly from COVID. His gym that once had 400 members was down below 250. Now, I know that for a lot of gym owners out there listening to this, you're like, 400 members, that's a ton. 250, I would take that all day. I don't see that as a problem. That might be true in your gym, but the reality is that you can't look at it from David's gym to your gym. You need to look at it as your gym to your gym. What would happen if 45% of the members in your gym walked out the door today? Think about your operating expenses. Think about what you're paying yourself. Think about what you're paying the coaches. Think about what your rent is. Would you still be able to do all of those things? Remember, as your gym grows, so will your expenses. The idea is that the gym grows at a rate faster than your expenses grow. So David found himself in the position where he knew he either had to rebuild after COVID, quote, after COVID, because if you live in the United States, you know that this is probably something that is going to exist forever, as long as our government is able to make decisions around it. And he knew he could either grow it back the way he wanted it to be in the future, or he could grow it back the way that he knew it could be from the past. Getting it back was not something that David was concerned about. How he wanted to get it back was. He knew he had a beginning point to make decisions about what the future could look like, and he wanted to collect all the information he could. One of the coaches in David's gym, Nick Mula, who is the head coach in David's gym, decided himself to enroll in the Active Life Immersion course, which is what we used to call the first 3 months of ALP. Now it's just you enroll in ALP and you're a candidate until you're an ALP. After enrolling in the immersion course, Nick found himself flush with personal training clients. His schedule was full with his own personal training clients. And that enabled him to go back to David, because you should know, I believe David spoke about on the podcast, Nick coming to David before having done the immersion course and saying, this is something interesting that we should look at. After Nick completed the immersion course and found himself full with personal training clients, he was able to go to David and say, this works. What if we were able to get our gym back to being at the same revenue numbers as before, at the same margin as before, while paying staff more money than before, with less members than before? Is that something that would be attractive to you, Dave? Dave talked about those being the three things that were necessary for him to make the decision that this is what he wanted to do. So they enrolled in ProPath. Since enrolling, what David has been able to do, in large part due to the support of Nick and the staff members in the gym, is he's developed a culture in which staff members at Courage Fitness Durham can expect to make financially freeing incomes working there. They can expect to earn enough money that their rent or their mortgage costs them 30% or less of their monthly income. David has been able to build a gym. And by the way, that's working in the gym full time, not having a second job, not taking clients online, working in the gym full time. What David has been able to do is afford himself the opportunity to be the owner of a gym who only goes in 4 to 5 hours a week, doesn't coach any classes, and allows the staff to decide what the best thing to do today is. When they want to make macro changes, they bring it to him. And he engages in conversation with them, often heated, as he discussed, because they want to get to where they all want to go as quickly as possible. And when you're trying to do something that everybody believes in, conversation can get heated. Everybody wants to achieve the mission, and everybody wants to contribute to the mission. And there's fear that if we don't do it this way, we're going to go slower than we otherwise could. And those are the kinds of conversations that you want to have. That's the kind of conflict that you want to have in your gym. Everybody working inside of Courage Fitness is committed to bridging the gap between fitness and healthcare, to afford individuals, members within that gym, the opportunity to stop working out around it, to stop avoiding whatever it is that's bothering them, to stop believing that they've become too old for it, to stop believing that they can't lift heavy weights anymore, and to start actually working on the problem that they are limited by right now so that they can live lives unlimited by the way their body looks, feels, or performs. To me, that's inspiring. To me, that's exactly what we're trying to accomplish. The fact that David has been able to do it with the team he has in place, that Nick has been able to spearhead it, that they have been able to recruit coaches, by the way, who've moved across the country to go and work inside of that gym full time, is a major feather in the cap of David, Nick, and the entire staff at Courage Fitness Durham for their commitment to a mission that drew people in. It wasn't that David put online, we have a salary position paying $70,000 a year for a coach who wants to fill it. And then all the coaches came and then he decided which one he wanted. That's not what happened. They put out that they have a job available for somebody who wants to fulfill this mission. And fulfilling this mission was the prerequisite of a staff member who was going to come on board. They had to be interested in the mission. Once they establish themselves as being interested in the mission, driven by the mission, then they become a candidate for the job. Then they get the interview. Then they get the opportunity. I want to talk about the reasons why David, I believe, has been able to do that. The number one reason why David has been able to do that is because he's been around long enough in the fitness space that he understands full commitment or no commitment. Full commitment or no commitment. The second reason why David is able to do this is because David looks at his gym as a business. It's what pays his bills. It's what pays the bills of the staff members. It's not a hobby for anybody there. If that gym doesn't perform, David has to figure out what he's going to do for a living. What that means is he's able to make business decisions that put the business first. And in order to put the business first, he's got to put the members and their service first. In order to put the members and their service first, he's got to make sure he's taking care of the staff. The third thing that David's able to do is he knows where his next member is going to come from. Lead generation, lead engagement, and member acquisition are skills that David has developed. They're skills that certainly we've helped David and the entire team of Courage Fitness get more clear on. And David's been able to leverage things like simple Instagram posts, a lead capture on his website, and a person responsible for making all of the sales conversations with all of the new members. He's been able to take those three things and turn them into a gym that's able to reliably acquire more than 10 members every single month. I don't want to give an estimate of a real number. I know it's higher than 10 significantly. So what happens now is when David changes something in the gym, he doesn't fear that a member might leave because the gym no longer marries what they're looking to accomplish in their life. He's able to say, we want to be able to serve people as deeply as possible. And we only want to serve people as deeply as possible. And so if you don't want to be served in that way, then we might be the wrong community for you. And that's okay. There are plenty of other places for you to go because he knows somebody else is going to join. He knows how he's going to get that next person to come into the gym. And that confidence is a big deal because the opposite side of this is as follows. And unfortunately, I'm telling you this today as I just finished a conversation with Mary Banks and Dan Rogan, who are our leads on the ProPath department, about a gym owner who unfortunately decided to cancel their ProPath membership. I asked why. And what it turns out is they found themselves in a situation in which the staff did not adopt the mission. And so because the staff did not adopt the mission, despite the fact that the gym owner adopted the mission, the gym owner did not believe that it was reasonable for him to continue along this path. And so he canceled. I believe that there are multiple factors that play in here. I don't think that the coaches not adopting the mission is the only one, because I believe the coaches not adopting the mission is no different than the membership not adopting the mission. If the gym owner was prepared to replace the coaches with other coaches who did adopt the mission, he wouldn't have had to cancel a membership because the coaches in place didn't. He wouldn't have to go back to work tomorrow to run a gym that he's not inspired to run because the people in it weren't inspired to run the gym that he wanted to. Problem number one. Problem number two is it's very likely that this gym owner was also afraid that if those coaches left, if he had to let go of those coaches, well, then a lot of the members would leave the gym with him. And that's only a fear when you're unsure how to replace the members who leave with new members who do adopt the mission, who do need what it is that your gym can do in a way that no other gym can do it. So problem number one, may not have been prepared to replace staff members who were not in line with the vision of the gym moving forward. Problem number two, wasn't prepared to replace members who weren't in line with the vision of the gym moving forward. Problem number three is likely the gym wasn't in a financial position yet to afford that gap between losing the staff members, losing the members, and being solvent and thriving. It was early in this gym's ProPath career with us, I believe inside of 2 months. And one of the things that we tell gym owners as they come in, especially as of late, is that while we do expect you to earn your entire investment back within the first 3 months working with us, it's important that you don't need any of your investment back for the first 6 months. The reason why that's the case is because you need to have the mindset that you are committed to the mission above the money so that the money can support the mission once you have clarity around it. The biggest mistake that we have made in the past as a company is we have brought gyms into our service. We have brought coaches into our service who needed that money tomorrow, whether they actually did or not. Mentally, they needed that money tomorrow. They would step over the mission to pick up the money if necessary. And I empathize with that because I've been in the position as a gym owner myself where I didn't want to look at the bank account. I knew what it was doing and I didn't want to see it. So I've been there and I understand why a gym owner would feel that way. In the past, we haven't been clear enough with some gym owners that the reality is they will make their money back within 3 months, but we need commitment to them that their mindset is they don't need to for 6. Because building a team around a mission that attracts members who are only serviced by that mission, that can take some time. So I'm struggling a little bit personally today with the loss of this gym owner for the following reason. I believe he's now a hostage to the kind of gym that his staff wants to run. Unfortunately, none of his staff work there full time. They're all hobby coaches. They all do this on the side of their, quote, real job. And I know this gym owner is a good person. I like him very much. I was very excited for his prospects of changing the trajectory of his gym. And what I'm struggling with today is that he is representative of many of you. He's not unique. He's representative of probably thousands of gym owners out there who want to run a business that they don't feel capable of running because they don't know how to acquire or develop the staff who are inspired to work in that business. They don't necessarily have the funds today to pay for professional staff who want to work in that business. I want to pledge to you that we have a solution for you. It's not a solution that I'm ready to sell to you today. Because frankly, we need the early adopters, the ones who are prepared to replace staff who do not believe in the vision, who are prepared to replace members who do not believe in the vision, who are prepared to go all in on mission over money so that money can serve mission instead of the opposite. We need those early adopters first. We need to prove it over and over and over and over and over again. And we're doing that. I don't feel as confident that we could help anybody as I feel that we could help the right people who are ready for this. Ultimately, my vision is that we're able to support more than the top 20% of gyms out there, that we're able to take everybody and bring them up. But the lessons that I learned this week, and it's crazy that they ran concurrent with each other. The podcast with David Rubin comes out on Monday last week. And then end of the week, this other gym owner put his cancellation notice in. It was a stark reminder. It was an obviation of everything that we already believed to be true. At Active Life, we are bridging the gap between fitness and healthcare. That's hard. That's a hard thing to do. It takes commitment. And those who are committed to it are receiving the rewards, not only financially, but emotionally, that getting into this business was supposed to provide for them all along. I struggle for the people who are unable to achieve that. And so the lesson I want you to get from this as a listener of this show today is that if you are out there right now and you want your gym to do things that it can't currently do because you don't have the team in place to support that mission. I want you to stare down the reality that you have a choice. You either commit to the mission or you commit to the team you have in place. And then you ride that out for the long term. So you need to ask yourself, what's more important? Is it the team you have in place and the members you have in place, or the mission that you don't? What do you want to commit to? Turn pro. Active Lifers, I have a favor to ask you. If you enjoyed the show, we pride ourselves on bringing value to you through the lens of bridging the gap between fitness and healthcare. The best way for you to support this podcast is by reviewing this episode wherever you listen. Please give us a 5-star review and share this episode with a friend. Your support helps so much. Send a screenshot of your review to us on our Instagram account at ActiveLifeRx. As a thank you, we'll gift you a special PDF with the most common mistakes made when working out and how to correct them.